Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
What is going on, faithful? It is absolutely incredible to be with you on game day, Christmas Eve, which is incredible. Shout out to everybody celebrating the holiday. Enjoy the family time. But what we got today, pretty excited about. My man, Casey Lima, came through in the clutch with our top 5 49ers to watch for in this Commanders game. So we've got our honorable mention. We're going to detail each one of these matchups, and you know where it's got to start at.
Number 5.
Revenge game. Trent Williams. I cannot talk enough about this dude this week. Now, I'm just going to sit here and tell you, he's incredible, right? Pro Bowl. He's going to be in the All-Pro. He's absolutely incredible. Whether it's the team, coaches, fans, players, opposing fans, it doesn't matter. Trent Williams is unbelievable. Now, we try really hard on these lists not to pick the obvious quarterbacks and whatever. Brock Purdy's not going to be on this list, even though he's so important. It's just we're trying to highlight perhaps some of the players or matchups that don't get a lot of publicity. Left tackle, very, very important position. The matchups are key. But above all else, the best left tackle in the league is going back against his former team. And he has been public with his disdain for the Commanders owner, Dan Snyder, how he just could not stand the way things were, how they took advantage of him and his cancer and the brain tumor and all the surgeries, all those things. He hates those guys. So that's one. Number two, the matchup in and of itself. You got Chase Young returning, who, former defensive rookie of the year, played at Ohio State, all those things, plus Montez Sweat. So if you're just looking at a pure matchup standpoint, it is strength on strength. The best thing that the Commanders have is a good pass rush. Well, the 49ers' best player is our left tackle. So I'm excited about that. And you're even going to get to see some Jonathan Allen. You're going to see some Daron Payne. He's going to get snaps against all 4 of their studs. And I'm pumped, whether it's kick out blocks, whether it's him doing his back club and pass protection. This dude's putting people in the dirt this game. I said in the previous scouting report episode that I'm putting the over-under at 11 players on the ground from Trent Williams. 11. When we do our Patreon breakdown and all that kind of stuff, make sure I'm going to be counting steadily all those different takedowns because this dude's just incredible. Best player in the game. So excited to see him go against his former team and just show out. One of the best trades ever, right? You gave up a third and a fifth for a back-to-back all-pro tackle. That is just insane. I hate the Washington franchise. I can't stand them. And I'm sure Trent feels the same way, probably with a little bit more juice than I do.
Number 4.
All right. We're going special teams this week. If you look at what the Commanders are best at statistically or analytics-wise, it's special teams. They got the number 1 ranked unit according to Pro Football Focus. I'm going Robbie Gould. Now, I know he missed his kick last week against Seattle, and it would have iced the game. It would have been over at that point. He missed it, just barely pushed it. But, man, he's been so consistent. And, you can talk about the 7-game win streak and Christian McCaffrey. You can talk about Purdy. You can talk about how well Jimmy G was playing before he went down. That's great. But Robbie Gould's been as consistent as any kicker in the NFL. Any kicker. And that's including Justin Tucker, who I think is the best kicker. Gould's numbers match up with that. Maybe not the 50-plus yarders, but I'll take consistent, keeping it right in the level of field. It's the equivalent of a golfer just always hitting it right down the middle of the fairway. That's who he has been. He's been incredible. So, the game, it's a gross game. It's one of the lowest over-unders. It's at 38 points last time I saw. It's just got a very low-scoring game with field goals mixed into it. And, if the Niners do struggle in the red zone, which, if you look at what the Commanders do, they're one of the best teams in the red zone at stopping running plays. So if you're going to beat them, you got to throw the ball in the red zone. There's going to be an opportunity for some field goals. So Robbie Gould making the most of his opportunities and being essential and preserving this win, I'm excited about it. And, field goals, again, I'm going to keep saying this until the cows come home. Field goals and punts are not bad things with this defense. They're not bad. As long as our defense is put in a decent position they're going to bail out the offense. So field goals are a good thing. I know everybody wants Shanahan to be aggressive and go for it and all those things. You get to 20 points, you win this game. I don't care how you have to do it. If that's 3 field goals, 4 field goals, don't care. You just got to get to 20 points. And so making sure that you make the most of your opportunities when you get into scoring position, that's exactly where Robbie Gould is going to fit in. Now, if we look at where the 49ers fit in, man, we're bouncing all over the place. We got our trip next week. If you're coming out to Las Vegas for New Year's, it's going to be incredible. We are going to be at Tailgate Social New Year's Eve from 1 to 4:30. So if you're going to some of the other Niners parties, that's awesome. I love it. Come party with us afterwards before your night gets crazy. We're going to be watching the college football playoffs, trivia, giveaways, raffles, Wayne Breezy, all kinds of people coming out. We got a hell of a party set up. Pumped about that one. And we've got a new addition. If you head over to 49ersrushroadtrip.com, that's where you can get your tickets. We got our wild card set up for the tailgate. Our tailgate set up for the wild card. Dyslexia strikes again. You're not sure who we're playing, not sure what day we're playing, but whatever that is, we're going to be in blue lot number 1, having an absolute party. As always, look for that 49ers Rush Road Trip flag. We'll got it all over the place. You see the logo right behind me. It'll be flying somewhere. Speaking of which, I got to buy a new flagpole. I broke it last time. Not because I was angry. I was happy. It just stopped working. Now, I wanted to take a real quick second and employ you guys. I need your help. I got an incredible question over on Instagram. If you don't follow us there yet, 49ers Rush Podcast, from Larry. He wants to know, he's been doing research and he can't find it. And this goes to my candlestick brothers and sisters out there. If you remember in the 80s and 90s, there was a song played after touchdowns when we were at home at Candlestick. It was instrumental only, horns and drums. We're trying to find audio of it. I haven't been able to find it yet. So I wanted to see if you guys can. So if you know what it is, or if you know how to find an example of it or something, whether it's YouTube, DVD, don't care. Can you reach out to me? 49ers Rush Podcast at gmail.com. And also, I'll put this out there. You got one of those questions you want answered? I'm not saying I know the answer. I probably do not. However, this community is incredible. And so if we can get together and figure this out, because I know there's so many more intelligent and, way more experience with the 49ers out there than I have. So if you know the answer, reach out, 49ers Rush Podcast at gmail.com. Help us out. Let's help Larry out. And again, we're all about bridging the past with the future and the present. Just bring it all together. And hopefully we can find that answer.
Number 3.
We put our bets out every week on Patreon. And man, we went 6 for 6 last week, which was awesome. Two of my favorite bets this week have to do with this player, Juwan Jennings, baby. 3rd and Juwan. He took over completely the Debo starting role. Now, he's not Debo. He plays a completely different game. But 64 offensive snaps last week against the Seahawks. He got 54. The dude, he's a starting wide receiver as long as Debo's out. He's getting such a huge snap share. Now, he had the 3rd highest run blocking grade, and I think this is why Shanahan trusts him so much. It was Trent Williams, who's the best, George Kittle, then this cat. And, he brings it on a just snap-by-snap basis, whether the ball's going to him or not. But I like his matchups, too. I think Fuller's probably going to shadow Ayuk. And if that's the case, that means Juwan Jennings is going to be going against Ben St. Juste and Bobby McCain, who's their nickel guy. I love him in both of those matchups. I have him seeing his highest season highs in targets, 7 targets, 4 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown is my projection. The pass has got to go to him eventually just because he's getting all those snaps. And so I'm excited to see what Juwan's going to do. I really, really enjoy what he has brought to this game. It's crazy because I got a couple emails this week talking about Juwan Jennings and Kendrick Bourne and kind of comparing them and what the difference is. And I say this, if you look at their height, weight, all those things, very similar, very similar. Once you turn on the tape, could not be further from they're nothing alike. It's almost like they don't even play the same position. Kendrick Bourne was one of the largest or biggest wide receivers we had for, 4 straight years. The problem was he just wasn't a blocker. It just was not his mentality. Juwan Jennings is the exact opposite, right? Now, you still got the drop issues. That is similar. But Juwan Jennings is Shanahan's guy in the fact that he does all of the dirty work, all of it. And he loves it. He takes pride in it. You see him when we're doing our Patreon breakdowns. That dude is John with everybody. He's talking trash to linebackers, corners, safeties, nickels, D linemen. He doesn't care. And you can put him out there. He has no problem whatsoever blocking a defensive end. None. Like he has no issues with that. So excited to see what he does. Third and Juwan, going to deliver on some key moments this game. I'm pumped about it.
Number 2.
Oh, man. We started this list with Trent Williams. Number 2 is the other side of the field. Mike McGlinchey, which, man, let's be real. Just came out. He's been playing with 2 broken ribs all the way back since week 8. Now, week 8 was the Rams game after the Chiefs. What's crazy to me, I would argue the best Mike McGlinchey has played in the past 2 years has come since he broke his ribs. I mean, McGlinchey's incredible. And I know it's very easy to kind of pile on and you look at those terrible plays and, just getting posterized by smaller guys, whatever else, they're bad plays. The dude is he's smart as hell. He's tough as hell. Before his injury last year where he tore his quad, he had never missed a game his entire life before that. He's tough, man. And again, for whatever criticism you have of him, and there should be a lot, the dude is tough as hell and he plays through a lot. Now, can he continue this streak of quality play against probably his toughest matchup of the year? And Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Like, you're getting a little bit of both. Chase, you have Montez Sweat that's, super speed and bend, flexibility. That's what he brings. Then you got Chase Young that's more of a power, does a little bit of everything. He's going to get tested. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, he's still prone to, a false start and holding penalties, wiped off a field goal last week. That's rough. But the eye test and the film and the metrics all say McGlinchey's playing at probably the highest level since his rookie year. He was great his rookie year. Second year was good. Third year started to struggle a lot. This year's been up and down. But since week 8, whenever he broke his ribs, he's been consistent. Here's what I'm going to say. And this might sound bad, but this is what I believe, okay? If we could get out of this game with Mike McGlinchey giving up 2 penalties and 1 sack, 3, right? 3's my number. He's got to give up 3 or less, the 49ers win this game. So if he gives up 2 sacks and has 1 penalty, I hate to say it, I think the 49ers could still win this game. If the Commanders win this game, they're going to have to go ham and just destroy Mike McGlinchey. I think that's the only possible way that they're going to be able to have the success that they want to have. And I want to see Mike answer the call. He's playing for a contract. This is the last year of his deal. I don't think the 49ers are going to bring him back, but it's possible. And even if they don't, this is a kid that's going to get probably $10 to $12 million a year, maybe more. Offensive tackle play is basura. It's bad in the NFL. He's going to get paid from somebody. So we'll see what that is. Now, before we get to our number 1 and our honorable mention, the best way to support the show, if you like what we do, let's go to Patreon. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/49ers Rush Podcast. And as soon as you sign up, you get almost everything, depending on the tier you pick. And if you're just interested in 49ers play, guess what? We have every single offensive, defensive, and special teams play from the last 2.5 years. Every single game for the 49ers. Nobody else has this content. Now, not to mention we have extra episodes weekly. We've got scouting report breakdowns. We've got betting. We've got your one-stop shop for 49ers content. And if you want to be heard, guess what? We got Zoom Hangouts twice a month where we listen to you. Patreon.com/49ers Rush Podcast, or just Google Patreon and 49ers. We're the first one that shows up. All right, my 2 honorable mention players. I mean, we do the top 5 list, right? But man, sometimes I just got to get these other guys in. Right off the bat, again, I talked about special teams. Ray McLeod. He just continues to show up. third and long, special teams. He's been so consistent. And, he's the wide receiver 4 with Debo out. But I'm sorry, with Debo in, with him out, he's number 3. And so he got, I think it was, well over 20 snaps last week. And despite only 13 receptions, man, he's got 15 and a half yards per reception this year. So this game's going to be, the special team's going to play a role. Can he continue to make those impactful returns, whether in the punt return or kickoff return game? And can he add that little bit of extra gravy whenever it comes to third downs? Can he show up? I do expect to see an end around or 2 from him this week. We'll see if he can make the most of with the ball in his hands. And then the opposite side, this guy doesn't get enough love this year. Tayshaun Gibson. Dude is a baller. You got him off the scrap heat from the Shanahan loyalty project. He has been incredible, and he has played so well. Now, if you look at what the Commanders do, they're kind of a 49ers light team offensively. They have a lot of yak guys, yards after the catch. They want to break tackles. You look at Curtis Samuel, you look at Terry McLaurin, like that's kind of what they want, these speed guys that can break tackles. Well, at some point, they're going to break tackles this week. Every single team has, missed tackles. 49ers are one of the best tackling defenses in the history of football, but there's still going to be missed tackles. And if that's the case, Tayshaun Gibson has been incredible at limiting those giant big plays. He's always on top of the play. Just that shell safety that's just there just in case. And so I look for him to show up and stop those big gains. I'm really, really excited to see what he's going to do. He's been fun this year. I think the 49ers are going to sign him and bring him back next year if he wants to play, if he doesn't retire. He is a little long in the tooth, but Tayshaun Gibson's going to play a huge key role several plays this game.
Number 1.
How can I not talk about the big man, Javon Kinlaw? He's back, baby. At long last, he returns to the field for the first time since week 3. We're in week 16. It's been 13 weeks. It's been a long journey. This year has not been what he had hoped it would be. There's no doubt about it. However, it comes at an opportune time. This is a physical running game that you're going against. We've had lots of injuries at the defensive tackle position, including Kerry Hyder, who's questionable. I do think that he will play. But Maurice Hurst went down before the season starts. Kevin Givens is out. Ridgeway's out. You just got back Armstead. It is so important to have big number 99 out there. Now, having said that, you look at his size, you look at his strength, you look at his length, just in the he makes a difference. And the funny thing is, it's similar. They're different players, but getting a first-round, high-end prospect back this week, just like Chase Young. Commanders are doing the same thing. Now, Kinlaw is not in Chase Young's realm, but the impact that Kinlaw makes is pretty damn important to all the people behind him. And this is what's crazy. Is it possible that we get improved linebacker play over what we've seen this year? I think it is. It's crazy to think that Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw could be better, but I think that that's on the cusp because of Armstead returning and Kinlaw returning. Even if he only plays 20 snaps, I don't care. Don't really care about the pressures. I want to see what he does in the run game, because if you stop the Commanders from running the ball this week, it's game over. There's 2 metrics that come down to this game. If they can destroy McGlinchey and if they can establish the run, Commanders win this game. They will. But if you could stop one of those 2 things, and I think Kinlaw will play a huge role in that, I think that's going to end it. And so super excited for Javon Kinlaw back, one of the easiest human beings to root for in the world. Just his story is incredible. And if you haven't heard his story, type in Javon Kinlaw countdown. We did a full episode on it this offseason. Man, easy to root for. So excited about the game today. Again, Merry Christmas Eve. Do you say that? I don't know if that's what you say. Not the biggest Christmas guy, but join us right after the game. Win, lose, or draw. I think it's going to be a 49ers win. I have us winning 24-13, covering the spread. Niners roll it to 8 wins in a row, but join us afterwards for your reactions. I'm super excited about this. And until next time. And again, let me just say, thank you to Casey Lima, producer of this show, and the show's always executive producers. We got James Willick, baby, Big James W, and 49ers George 365. Love you guys. Appreciate the support. Until next time, stay strong, faithful.